Today we are here with Jon Schaffer from Iced Earth, but well, from what I know, mostly is actually Sons of Liberty. Yeah, I've been already a big fan of your music in Sons of Liberty, and I start to discover now Iced Earth more.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it seems we don't have a lot of time left today, so as the world will end, we still have a few hours left.
Yeah.
And but I think my first question is, would there be a better way to leave this planet as with a gig of Iced Earth?
I don't know, man. I mean, there probably is, but since we're doing it,
then we make it count, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, so as I said before, I'm actually more acquainted to Sons of Liberty, but Iced Earth is starting to roll with me also a little bit. Although I'm a huge metal fan, I never really considered listening to Iced Earth before. But would you say I'm guilty or making blasphemy here? Or
no, man. I mean, whatever.
No, I'm just kidding. Is that the? Yeah, but do you hear that more often, that people actually listen to Sons of Liberty before they actually go for
no, I
Iced
mean,
Earth?
No, there are some people for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely most of the people know Iced Earth, and that's, I would say that's the majority of how people found out about Sons of Liberty. But there's definitely since it's such a grassroots movement, and I've encouraged people to copy the CDs and pass them around and get the lyrics offline and try to, you know, understand what's going on and use it as a weapon, because that's really what it is. That created a new fan base, and then a lot of those people did discover Iced Earth because of Sons, but a lot of it has to do with the type of interviews I was doing also.
Yeah.
Focused only on Sons of Liberty, and then,
exactly,
you know, so that created fans, but the majority of the fans are definitely Iced Earth fans.
For sure, yeah, because how long does it exist now, Iced Earth?
First album came out 22 years ago.
Wow. Wow. Still going strong.
Yeah, man. Stronger
cool.
than ever.
Nice. I was reading a bit of your lyrics also from Iced Earth. Is it moving quietly also, let's say, in the way of lyrics and the way of thinking towards Sons of Liberty? It seems that there's coming a synergy between them, or is that already something that's already happened a long time ago with
well,
with
I think
Iced
I was
Earth?
writing all this kind of shit anyway, but I wasn't really awake. So at a subconscious level, it was there.
Yeah.
Definitely anti-establishment, and you know, that kind of and self-perseverance and reliance and those kind of ideals have always been in Iced Earth's music. But I think when I really woke up and understood what was happening, then yeah, I mean, it's such an important part of my life, and it's such a powerful part about the way I feel. It would be really difficult for me to not bring it into Iced Earth a little bit. I just don't want Iced Earth to get political, because, you know, even with Sons of Liberty, they don't really, a lot of the people don't understand what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people can confuse it and think it's some like right-wing extremism or some
Really?
sort of a, yeah, because, you know, I'm a very patriotic guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe in the founding principles of the United States. I hate what it's turned into.
Yeah.
You know, that's something different, but people can't separate the empire from the constitutional republic, because we have become this brutal empire. It's and it even, I was living under so much propaganda, I didn't realize how bad things were until at one point I learned about the Federal Reserve, and then I started connecting the dots and doing a lot of research, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, man.
Yeah.
This is no longer my country. It's been hijacked. You know, doesn't mean I'm not a patriot. I am, and I will fight.
No, exactly, because the original patriotism has actually nothing to do anymore with what the government has become now, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
It's a
complete, you know, it's the opposite.
Yeah, everything they do right now is actually contradicting everything that it was established
It's disgusting, man. They have the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the famous piece of artwork where the founders are debating and signing the Declaration of Independence on food stamps. You know,
what?
It's unbelievable. You know, like, here you go, slave, you're free. Really? I mean, that's how backwards things are, and they just laugh and spit in our faces, man. I mean, it's so disgusting, and I don't know what it's going to take for. I mean, people in general need to wake up. But I mean, me being an American, I'm really disgusted with my country.
Yeah.
Why aren't we taking our country back? You know, this is really, really serious shit that's going on. It's affecting lives at home. It's killing a lot of innocent people around the world. It's just a big corporate. It's some kind of a new ism, you know. It's like a mixture. It's like fascism at the top and communism at the bottom. You know, I mean, because the people don't realize it because they have all this fake wealth.
Yeah.
So they don't realize that everything they have that's based on debt can be taken from them like that. And it's once you understand the monetary system, then you really see what this is all about. And that's the hard thing. And so that's what Sons of Liberty is. If people get a wrong impression about it, but you know, it seems like the worse things get, and the more, like when I first released it, people were like, he's crazy, he's lost his mind, blah blah blah. Well, now it's got a lot more. It's got a lot more history, because what I was saying is happening. It's happening, and if you're paying attention at all, you should be able to see that.
Here in the Netherlands, we were actually really watching how the polls were going from the presidential elections and stuff, and it seemed in the beginning actually that even Ron Paul was standing a chance, and then suddenly it looked like there was like a total media blackout on him.
Oh, there was.
And everything that they were covering was just ridiculizing him.
Yep.
And just making fun of him.
That's what they did.
But to my opinion, he is actually maybe the last standing defender of the old republic.
Yeah, well, there's more of us. There are. But he was, you know, he was the right guy. He's been fighting the Federal Reserve forever, but the problem is, man, it's a very controlled system of propaganda, and people are so addicted to their televisions in the States, and so naive and so trusting of everything they hear from the media, that let's face it, it's a mind control mechanism, because you get people that, you know, they hear some puppet on this, you know, a newscaster or whatever say that, you know, well, Ron Paul never has a chance, and then they go around and parrot that, so they believe that just because some asswipe on television said it, that it's got to be true. And that's the way, and it's a powerful tool. So, you know,
and it looks like the internet now is actually starting to be the counterpart against the televisions in some ways. You know, you can get a lot more information on the internet, and now suddenly you see that they are going in secrecy, having meetings to see how they can filter the internet, how they can censor the internet. I think a week or 2 weeks ago there was a meeting somewhere in, where was it, in I think it was in Saudi Arabia or something. I don't know why it was over there, but there was a meeting between the highest powers to make to sign or to make an act to actually control the internet in a much more. I mean, this is the ground where they are probably losing in the future, and the television is maybe going, you know, to be less and internet up, and I mean. Is this the place where people will eventually find out what is really happening?
Of course it is. And that's why they want to come after it. I mean, but the internet is what I use the analogy of, if you think about, like in the colonial times where you had the town crier, or, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that was the guy that the king was giving the information to, and he came out and said, this is the news.
Yeah.
Told all the slaves, this is the way it's going.
Yeah.
And then they invented printing presses, and then you had actual journalists started to come alive and go out and find stories and print it and get that stuff out to the people. And then television and the newspapers got corrupted, and the big news magazines are all controlled by the same people. So you have, again, they hijacked that, and the internet was the breakaway from that. It was kind of like the new era of printing press, and now they're coming after that. But it's going to be difficult, because there's a lot of really smart people in the Patriot movement. When I say Patriot movement, I mean the freedom movement worldwide. There's a lot of smart people that are
critical thinkers.
Of course, yeah. And I think they're, as many times as they try to, like, you know, strengthen their grip around us, it's just gonna cause that much more reaction. So it's right now it's a race. I mean, and you can feel it building, like there's something big going on. I just hope they don't start World War III to distract everybody. That's,
oh my God, yeah.
You know,
that would be horrible.
Probably what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it certainly feels that way with the attack on Iran that's impending, and all the shit that's going on in the Middle East. You know.
What do you think? Will this explode also again, or? Man,
I think if they have their way, If people, the thing is that I feel the only way this shit can work is if it's in the shadows, and if it's exposed, it just sort of falls apart, because the people just say no. You know, I mean, Gandhi was right. His way was right. The problem is the people in the West still have enough wealth and they're still too spoiled to be willing to sacrifice and do the kind of things that Gandhi's followers did.
Yeah.
But it was a total peaceful resistance. I'm not sure it's going to go that way. You know, I think there's too much ignorance, and there's too many people, because of this fraudulent monetary system, can be paid off.
Yeah.
You know, just print more money, pay off, you know, and buy mercenaries, and you just send them into countries and try to cause civil war, and then we can take their property and put them into debt, take over their banks, whatever's left that they don't control. There's only a few.
What do you think of Obama, or of who was it, Mitt Romney, right? That he was.
It wouldn't be.
My
any
opinion was
different.
both the same.
It is the same.
Yeah.
It is totally the same.
I mean, also they are financed by the same bankers,
of course
and,
they are.
you know, and they are the puppets of.
It's, you know,
but
it's the same, two different slices of a shit sandwich. that's what it is. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter.
Well said.
I think the thing with Obama is it's like he's the ultimate deceiver. It's unbelievable. It's really scary.
This is the thing. Here in the Netherlands, I think maybe 80–90% still think that Obama is actually some kind of a messiah. They are still thinking that he is the solution to end all wars, while actually he has placed the country, in the United States, I think in 7 or 8 times more debt than in the whole history. And he has been dropping bombs, drones.
Yep.
I mean,
he's expanded the wars totally.
And
he got the Nobel Peace Prize. Amazing.
But before he actually did something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, it's like the ultimate setup. I mean, if you can't see that this shit is not controlled from the highest levels, then you're blind. That's all there is to it. You know, it's like, it's just disgusting. I can't stand it anymore. I mean, I don't even like going back to my own country. That's how bad it you know, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But the people and the whole, you know, the fear, and everybody's afraid of, you know, the boogeyman around the corner, or the big scary man with the beard and the turban, which is like, yeah, guess what? Your government did it.
Exactly.
I mean, face it.
Yeah, because every dictator that is destroying their own countries, let's say, has been placed there by the United States government themselves.
Sure. They
put them there, and when they stop listening to what the U.S. government wants, then they take them out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no difference in the vassals of the old Roman Empire. It's
exactly.
It's the same game, man. It goes on and on and on. It's just.
Well.
But if they, I mean, the thing is, I think they're pushing and pushing and pushing, and there's definitely a segment of my country that will not put up with it. I mean, people are getting to a point. You know, it's like with the first American Revolution. It was when they went after the guns. At that point, it was game on. You know,
exactly.
And they're doing it incrementally, and they're doing it in a really brutal way that plays on the people's emotions. You know, you set up some massacre in the theater of Batman.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was involvement there. I can't prove it.
Of course.
But I have seen some evidence, and I've talked to some detectives that are oath keepers, and they were like, "It's bullshit, man." And they yeah, man. I mean, all this stuff, and I guarantee you, the more evidence that comes out about the shooting in Connecticut, there's something fishy about it. There's going to be links, and it's all an agenda to make the people. You know, the reality is, if we have a criminal state, which we do, why should we let them be the only one armed?
Exactly.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to mean the death of millions of people in the United States.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. It's happened every time in history, and I guarantee you, there's a big segment, and it's growing all the time in our population, that will not allow that to happen. And the military is getting wise to it too, and so are a lot of cops. And that's why Oath Keepers is the most important activist group there is, man. I mean, these are cops, these are firefighters, they're active duty military, retired, that are reaffirming their oath to the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and they're not going to.
Well, what are the Oath Keepers actually? What is their?
You can look it up. It's oathkeepers.org. Look it up on the internet.
Check it out.
It's a really killer organization led by what I consider to be our modern day George Washington. His name's Stuart Rhodes. He started this, and these guys are on a mission, man. And I mean, the government's afraid. That's why they're doing the things they're doing, because they're monitoring every email, every Facebook, everything we do.
Yeah.
And they see that the population is getting fucking pissed.
It's like what they say, right? That we shouldn't be afraid of our governments, but the government should be afraid of the people.
Dude, absolutely. And they're doing some really horrible things to try to beat us down, and even resulting to killing children. I'm sure of it. So.
Oh yeah, totally. If they do it abroad, why not at home?
Yeah, exactly. They're heartless pigs. So, anyway, the good news is good people in America are talking. Yeah. We're rising up. We're starting to see through the propaganda, and I think it's gonna take a while. You have to think about a country. Think about a gigantic ocean liner and trying to turn it around. It doesn't happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And think about a country and how far gone it is, especially in the last 100 years. You know, which is when the empire really kicked off, when the Federal Reserve hijacked the United States. Yeah. That's when it started, you know.
Yeah, this is a question that I actually had, because a lot of people don't know exactly how that works. And you wrote this song called Jekyll Island, right?
Yeah.
What really happened on Jekyll Island?
They met in 1910. They wrote their own legislation for the banks to seize control of the monetary system in the United States, and corrupted leaders in both houses of Congress and Woodrow Wilson. And you know, he even admitted
he was the president,
shortly
right?
before he died. Yeah, he was the president that signed it into law. He you know, said that, I can't remember verbatim what he said, but it was, you know, he's ruined his country.
Yeah.
And it's the power has been transferred into the group of a small group of men, and it's
actually when I googled for the worst president ever, I would think that Bush or Obama or whatever would come up. His name stood first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what he did with signing that changed the whole face of the world, actually.
Yeah. Well, but it was the system, actually. It's the Rothschild system. So
yeah.
It was going on in Europe anyway. It's just basically true. what they didn't want was.
They started in England, I think, with it.
I think they started in Germany.
Okay.
And then the family branched out into England and France, Italy. You know, basically they have everything now except a few banks in the Middle East. So
yeah, but actually the coup the coup d'état that they did actually with the Federal Reserve, I think they did this before in England, right? That was like the first time that they actually.
Yeah, they got the Bank of England too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got the banks. Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
So yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's pretty serious shit.
Do you think there are people, but this is almost conspiracy territory, but I would almost think it's true. Do you think this is the reason that Kennedy got killed?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Because he actually issued debt-free notes, and he signed an executive order to end the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, because he turned it around immediately after he died, right? The next president just turned it back again to what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I actually bought a $5 bill that was issued under, it was called the United States note.
Wow.
So it wasn't.
Would be nice to have those, huh?
It was a cool piece of monetary history for sure.
Yeah.
Really sad. I mean, Kennedy was not perfect, but he tried to do a lot of. It's like, you know, got into office and developed a conscience, and came from a family that they thought would play ball, and he was like, him and his brother, no, we're not going to put up with this, and they killed both of them. So I'm sure it was linked to the same criminals. Of course it is.
Yeah.
You know, start putting it together that he didn't want us in Vietnam. He would have, you know, he pissed off a lot of people with the Bay of Pigs deal, and I mean. A lot. He was kind of rebelling against the system. He's probably the last president we had, actually.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So by now, most of the people believe that the media and the governing powers have not given us the truth of what happened on 9/11. What do you think that really happened that day? And
I don't really know, but I know the official story is a lie. The research that I've done leads me to believe that it was intelligence operations from a few different countries to bring about the police state in the United States. Because the thing that I know this is difficult for some Europeans to understand that are very anti-gun, but what people have to understand is the Second Amendment in the United States was about defending ourselves against a criminal government.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't to go hunting. That's okay. That was normal in those days anyway. People did that. That's how they ate. So, you know, to try to say, well, that's what that was about, or even the founders, you know, against home invasion, or it was about government taking over.
I think I actually saw on your Facebook, I think it was your Sons of Liberty Facebook, where there was, I think a few days ago, quite an aggressive back and forth between people about this gun ownership, and. I have to say, we're here in the Netherlands, I think many people are against gun ownership.
Yeah.
But the moment that I heard actually that the gun ownership is actually to eventually defend yourself against the system when everything goes crazy, then I totally understand why they want to take the arms away now.
Yeah, I mean, people have to understand. Think about how different history would have been had the victims of, you know, maniacs like Stalin and Hitler and Mao Zedong, if those people would have been armed.
Yeah.
So they've got to come after the guns, and believe me, these are some evil motherfuckers, and they're doing it every way that they can. I mean, they would go in and kill a bunch of children to make the population stand against guns.
Yeah.
And there's so much devious things going on within the intelligence community that they have ways of doing things to people that we can't even comprehend. And so I don't trust anything anymore that the system says. I mean, I just don't believe any of it. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. And I think that's what people have to understand. And we got to start talking to each other. You know, I mean, I think of the days when I was a kid growing up in the States. We'd be outside playing football. We would be playing when we were kids. You know, we weren't sitting around like brain dead, you know, mind controlled zombies in front of a television or video games. And it's like, if that becomes your obsession, you completely lose reality. And you go through neighborhoods now, and everybody's inside, and the windows are all closed up, and you just see the blue glow of the TV set. And none of the kids are out playing anymore, and it's really sad, man. You know. But that's, again, I don't believe the universe works only one way. Yeah. So for all the really bad shit that's going on now, there's a big swell of good stuff that's coming up.
This is actually one of my questions that I have. To me, there are many people or actually a few that inspire me very much. People, who keep me positive, who keep me optimistic. Who puts a smile on your face? Who inspires you, or who would you say that Google it up and check that out?
I mean, I really go back to the founders for me, and that's something that doesn't interest a lot of people. Unfortunately, it should. Yeah. Because these were freedom fighters, man, and they did some pretty remarkable things. It was a great time of struggle, but I think it was pretty incredible what they pulled off. And it was never perfect, but
of course,
but that's humanity.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a move in the right direction, and it made prosperity explode for a while. You know, and that also led to a lot of corruption and stuff. So it seems like humanity keeps going through these cycles. But I really love Thomas Jefferson. He's the one that gets me going, man. His writings, you know, and I mean, all those guys. They were just such amazing minds. But Gandhi, and who I love to watch, who just fires me up, Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's very energetic.
Yeah, man. He's a warrior, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like he every day. No, and I met him, and it was like you look in his eyes, and you can see this is exactly what he was meant to do.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, he is just hammer full on, and he's happy. You know, he gets really stressed out, and you can see that he's so concerned it freaks him out. It does me too, but it's also, once you see this for what it is, it's very liberating. It makes you feel free. You know,
how was it with Alex Jones? How was this interview that you did with him?
It was great. I mean, it was a very, you know, I was quite nervous and
like me now.
No, I mean, but because I admire him so much, you know, I was just like, you know, but he was really cool, and he was very sincere and very focused, and he taught me a lot. And you know, off the camera,
this man is full of information. Huh?
He is, man, and he's always going. I mean, he just doesn't stop. So to me, he's very inspiring. I know he freaks a lot of people out because he's, you know, I mean, he goes on the rants, which I think sometimes are hilarious, and they get me fired up and make me want to fuck, you know. But it's just, he's inspiring. He's a, you know, some people he just scares the shit out of them. But I think everybody has their own role in the movement, and you know, I think there's certain personalities on this planet that's the only way you're going to wake them up. Yeah. There's other personalities that maybe you need to do it in a very calm way, you know, and just talk about the money. Do you know how it's created? Do you know what a central bank is? Do you understand what this really means? And that's because people just take it for granted. Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things that everybody has their role.
This is something different now. I found out that you did a recording together with a band called Anarcadia. Yeah. And they're from Syria, right? Yeah. How did that work out?
They contacted me on the Facebook page, and you know, they asked me to do a vocal spot, and I said, yeah, let me hear it. I mean, maybe, you know, let me see the lyrics and stuff. And as soon as I heard and and saw what they were doing, I was really interested, because I think, we've, the war machine's parked right off the coast of their country, ready to go.
Yeah.
And there's so much deception going on about what's happening within the country and everything. I thought it would be cool if an American guy and some Syrian guys get together and put out a message of...
Did you go there?
No, I actually recorded the vocal parts. I had a studio booked in Montevideo, in South America.
All right. So you did it through the internet, back and forth with.
Yeah, they emailed the file to the studio, and I sung it, and then they sent it back, and those guys mixed it.
Worked out really well. I have to say, it's a really amazing song. What was the name of that song again?
True World Order.
True World Order. Yeah. Love it, man. I just heard it, and it was amazing.
I mean, it was not my best vocal performance, but I'm not really a singer anyway. I'm just pissed off, So it's one of those things. Like, I don't really.
Pissed off is normally good enough, huh?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I guess it works for some people, but it's just the message was right, and what those guys are going through is brutal, and it's just it's inspiring for me to see young kids that are living in a very extreme situation still persevere for the metal.
Do you know how they deal with it? I mean, they're a metal band, and they're living in a culture where metal is probably one of the things that are, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something that even playing metal could be dangerous for you. I don't know, man.
I'm not sure. We get told so many lies about the Middle Eastern countries, and I've met so many cool people from Iran and from all over the place, Saudi Arabia, and just metal fans, and I just don't know what to believe anymore when it comes to like that. I mean, of course, there's an extreme part of the Muslim faith, but there is in Christianity, and there is in everything. I mean, it's just, again, that's another thing that human beings do sometimes. But I think in general they're very good people. They're very passionate people, and they're having their countries destroyed. They're having their monetary systems taken over. They're having their oil and their natural resources taken, and it's just a big corporate fascist takeover. Is what it is.
I have been watching this documentary called Heavy Metal in Baghdad. I don't know if you know that one, but it's a documentary where a guy who makes a documentary, he goes searching for a certain metal band that lives in Baghdad, and he finds them eventually, and they are living there under, well, in warfare. It's in the middle of the war that they are living there, and still playing metal, and it's unbelievable to see how they actually go through with it. They say, like, when we buy a guitar, the price is 6 times higher as their value because they're hard to get. They have to take all the screws off, so it goes in 2 parts, and then in a blanket they had to walk over the streets with it, because if they are caught with an electric guitar, they could get in trouble and all that kind of stuff. So this is why I actually asked this question, because I wanted to know if Syria has the same kind of cultural problems with
I really don't know, because I haven't been able to talk to those guys in that way. It was always about the song and the files and scheduling and whatever. So I do know that they just did an interview with Pasha Roberts. Well, it's with one of the guys that works on his team. For the Silver Circle movie. I don't know if you've heard of that or not, but it's an animated movie. It's called Silver Circle, and it's about the rebels forming against the Federal Reserve, and it's pretty cool. And I actually do a cameo in it. So cool. Pasha had heard about my spot on the Anarcadia song, and he said, "Man, I want to interview these guys, because if they're in Syria and they're thinking about the Liberty Movement, and they put the Ron Paul speech in the song that I did with them, it's pretty cool, Nice. And so I haven't read the interview because he sent me the link today, but I think you're going to find out a lot about who these guys are by reading that interview, because it's an interview with one of the guys. And
I'll check it out. Yeah.
So.
Well, then I have only one more question, actually. For our viewers and our friends, if they want to start listening to Iced Earth or Sons of Liberty or anything, what do you recommend for them to start with?
I mean, with Iced Earth, I recommend Dystopia, because that's the album that we've been, especially if they're Sons of Liberty fans.
Exactly, yeah.
Because there is that message in there.
Yeah.
It's disguised in some, sci-fi literature and horror literature a little bit, and but it's in there, and I think
I like the song V.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's kind of blatant.
It speaks for itself already.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites to play live, because the chorus is so strong, and I love it when the people bring the masks in the audience. It's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But It's one of those things for the Sons of Liberty stuff. I guess Brushfire's in line because that's the first album. And then there's an EP called Spirit of the Times. I think either of those things would work.
All right. Well, this is it actually. Coffee machine warming up.
Okay.
It's actually pouring coffee on its own. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, Jon, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, man.
It was nice meeting you.
Good to meet you too.
And well, hopefully we meet again.
Yeah, we will.
In a better world.
I hope so, man.
This one is off of our new album, Dystopia. Thank you so much for enjoying it. This one is called Dark City.